Good morning, my friends. I am Pastor Ben Hayes from First Baptist Church, Dadeville, Alabama. Bring you our thought for the day on Thankful Thursday. I'm actually recording this on Wednesday because church office is closed on Thursday. But I want you to know that we are so thankful for you. Thankful that you watch. Thankful that we get to spend this time together every day, at least over the internet. Right now, join me in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, picking up in verse 1. Paul says, "Now I, Paul, myself, am pleading with you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am lowly among you, but being absent am bold towards you." Here's the thing. Paul is constantly having to do battle with people who are criticizing him, making fun of him, saying, man, he can really write some strong letters, but when he's here, he's just a little coward kind of thing. That's what they've been saying. And Paul says, look, in this letter, I'm pleading with you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ. Okay? He says, I may be lowly when I get there to be with you, but through the letters, I'm usually pretty tough. But get this. He says, I'm doing it so that I don't have to be tough when I get there. I don't have to fuss at you. I don't have to uh, discipline you when I get there. I'm trying to help you to see in these letters what you need to do so that when I get there, we can just rejoice and celebrate together. I mean, think about that. You got a dad who's gone on a long trip, a mom who's gone on a long trip, and all throughout the trip they hear about the children misbehaving, and they keep telling them, say, look, you need to behave. You gotta change the way you're doing things. You can't do that with your friends, and just over the phone maybe have to be a little tough, because when they get home, they don't want to have to spend a lot of time disciplining their children. They want to celebrate, enjoy being together. That's what Paul's talking about here. He said, I try to help you through the letter so that when we get there, we can just have a great reunion together. But look what he says in verse 2. But I beg you that when I am present, I may not be bold with that confidence by which I intend to be bold against some who think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. Yeah, more accusations, saying Paul's just in it for the money. That's all it's about. That's why he keeps asking for these offerings. It's not going to Jerusalem. It's going straight into his pocket. He's taking care of himself through that. They're making all kinds of accusations against Paul. You know why they do that? Because if you can undermine the reputation of the preacher, you've destroyed his ministry. That's what the devil tries to do all the time. It not just happened to Paul. It happens to all pastors, all preachers, all who share the gospel, because the enemy wants to destroy his reputation. And so people will say things that are absolutely not true, and they don't even hesitate to do it. But I got to tell you, you're taking a chance when you begin to work in that way, because God is going to take care of his ministers, just like he took care of the Apostle Paul. Look what he says in verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds. Now, I'm going to pause there for a minute, even though the thought continues. Paul says, yeah, we live in this body. We live in this world. But the way we do battle is not like the world does battle. We don't have to use words. We don't have to use arguments. We don't have to use criticism. We don't have to use mockery. We don't have to use ridicule. We don't have to do those things. We don't have to make you feel about this big. We could, but we don't. He says, because the weapons that we use are not from this world. They're not carnal. Our weapons are mighty in God. They have the ability to pull down strongholds in your life and in the lives of others. And that's why it's so important that we focus on what God has in store for us, because the battle we're facing is not an earthly battle. It's a spiritual battle. And Paul says, verse 5, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Now, I'm going to pause there for today. We're going to pick up here tomorrow, and we're going to talk about those verses because they're so important to the life of every believer. But right now, you be blessed, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.